So, Pierre, I feel like you have a rant incoming on a player at the scouting combine. And I bet you I know who it is. And if it's not, I will be shocked because I know you well, my friend. I know you well.
Yeah.
And I think I know who it's going to be. So
Really?
I will let you. Yes. I think it's Shedeur.
Oh, well, actually, it's not. Funny
enough.
enough.
Wow.
I don't have a problem. I know the news came down of him not working out at the combine and things of that nature. I don't really necessarily have a problem with that. And it's not so much this player that I'm excited to see them at the combine because I've already seen what they can do on the football field in Division I football, and this individual does it very well. But to me, probably the most intriguing player in the draft, for me, I'm just speaking for myself, is Tyler Warren. The guy can just line up anywhere on the field. I'm super excited to see how they're going to use him at the NFL level because you can line him up inside, outside, in the backfield if you want. I mean, I'm curious to see if Tyler Warren will even get some handoffs in the NFL because the guy just can be used in so many different ways. And we got to see a chance to see him up close and personal, when Penn State came to Minnesota earlier in the season, and he was absolutely sensational in that game as well as he is in every single game pretty much that he played all season long. But Tyler Warren to me is the guy that I'm so fascinated by because he's just such a unique talent. To me, he has the feel, especially in this year's class. To me, he has the feelings of a top 5 talent in this class, but he won't go top 5. Will he go top 10? Will he go where? How high does he go? How low does he fall? That to me, I think is the great mystery. I don't see him falling any past the middle of the first round, but I just think that I just love watching the guy play football. I do. I think he's just so dynamic and so unique. I can't wait to see him at the NFL level.
Yeah, no, he's one of my favorite guys too. And here's the thing that scares me though. He's probably going to go to a team that I hate.
Yeah.
Like a team that it's going to directly affect, the Cowboys. I don't think the Cowboys are going to draft him because it's not one of their, it's one of the things they can get by with not really addressing
right.
This offseason. Everything else they need to. And plus, he'll be drafted in the top 15. The Cowboys are at 12. I'm hoping that's Ashton Genty. But, and I'm going to will that into existence.
I know you are. Are.
Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com a few years ago willed Micah Parsons into his existence. So I feel like it's my turn. It's my turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna will him into existence.
Well, the Miami Dolphins are sitting there at 13, and even though I know if the logic is we're not going to draft Tyler Warren because we have Jonnu Smith, I'm just going to tear my hair out. But at the same time, too, there are much more pressing needs, in my opinion, for that team. That if you pass on Tyler Warren to select somebody in the trenches, I can live with that. I think.
So if you're not going to pick a guard that early in the,
I don't know if Tyler Cooper goes that early. I don't think he'd go that early, but there's news on both sides.
Who I would be thrilled with if I was a Dolphins fan is Kelvin Banks, tackle from Texas.
Yeah, because I think they're gonna. I mean, he could play tackle. I think they're probably gonna I shouldn't say probably, but I think he has the ability to kick into guard.
Yeah.
As well. Ariante Ursary is another guy too here at the University of Minnesota who played great left tackle for a minute. And once the numbers come out on him, I think his name's actually going to rise a little bit once they see the physical tools that he's capable. That's a guy who played left tackle, but I think could also kick into guard. So, guard play. It's hard to feel excited about drafting a guard in the top 15, but a need is a need. And boy, do the Dolphins need guard in a bad way.
One of the things we're going to do before the draft is there are mock draft engines now that you can do your own mock draft on.
Yeah.
Which I do quite a bit. It's a good little time. I like to do it for every team because it helps me in this job learn things I wouldn't have learned or look people up I wouldn't have looked up before.
Right.
And I use a couple different services because people have different rankings and opinions, and sometimes some people will have some guy in there and some people won't. Pro Football Focus is the most popular one. I don't like that one.
Okay.
I don't approve of Chris Collinsworth and his snooty ass rankings. Or it's backwards. It's really backwards. He'll have Graham Mertz is going to be one of his top 10 quarterbacks. I promise you that. And he's not that. Like, there's 15 guys I would take before Graham Mertz, and 2 of them were like option quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I remember we did a version of this last year. I remember that we did a version of this, and I do remember that in the second round, it might have been the end of the first, maybe it was the first. No, I think it was the second round. In the second round, I did say I would like to see the Miami Dolphins to take Braden Fisk. But what do I know? What do I know?
I knew it. So what I will do is I will get a group of us together.
Yeah.
You spent hours selecting your patio sofa. Choosing that grill would have taken weeks. Probably your car needed way more time. For sure, you would have spent months mulling over that pool of yours. Protecting your prized possessions needs no time, though. Just visit coversandall.com, create a custom size per your requirements, pick a fabric, and personalize your cover. And leave the rest to us. Premium protection for all that you love.
And for example, I'm gonna, I'll get a Texans guy. I'll do the Cowboys. I'll get Q to do the Raiders. Like, all these things. We'll get all that, and then we will like do a whole big. We'll call it. Let's do a 3-round mock draft.
Okay.
We'll do the first 3 rounds, days 1 and 2. Day 3, it's. If you've been to a draft, Pierre, I know. When you're there on day 3 of the draft, there's not much. There's a lot more going on around than there is like up there. There's not, because it just goes so fast. So what you do is if you're at the draft as a fan or as a media member, you just walk around and see every cool thing that's going on. Yeah. And then like occasionally you look up and you're like, oh, okay, that's a good pick for Baltimore. Good. That's crafty. Like, oh yeah, I don't know, that guy fell. Like, Baltimore got him. They know what they're doing.
Day three is filled with the, oh my God, how did this guy get down this low? Oh, what a steal. This guy could be the sleeper of the draft. All of those narratives just have so much fun on day 3 of the draft.
Yeah. But days 1 and 2 is what we'll focus on, because those are the ones that you really got to nail down.
Right.
So I'll make sure that we have all 32 teams covered. We'll do it live, like on a StreamYard. We'll feed it in, and then we'll go. We'll make trades and all those things and see how it goes. Maybe we do that like a week before.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it'll be really fun. Something I've wanted to do for a long time. I think I trust Garrett with the Commanders.
I can give it a shot. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll send you the link, Garrett. You can mess around with it.
Okay, I'll get down with it.
You can mess around with it and create like what you want. Now,
we have to have an over-under number of LSU players that Garrett would draft in any given draft. I mean, it's got to be.
Well, I mean, he's going to have 3 spots, so one of those probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll at least one.
Yeah.
At least I was thinking of, like, if he had a full 7 rounds, like if just for the sake of argument, if he had a pick in every round, we'd have to set the over-under at 3.5. I mean,
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you want Jaden Daniels, sorry. I was doing college football stuff earlier. You want Jaden Daniels to feel comfortable. You want him to be happy.
Of course.
What better way than getting his buddies there?
Yeah, get Mason Taylor. Replace Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
There you go.
Second or third round sitting right there for you. So
kind of a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Yeah. And nephew of a person who's getting sued.
That is true. That is true. Yes.
A serious sports journalist at that.
Oh, boy.
Serious about it.
Oh, boy.
And if you don't believe me, check out her Instagram.
I mean, it
is all serious sports content and nothing else.
There is I'm still waiting to hear the other side of this story as that goes along. I'm very curious to know.
Our business is aflutter.
Yeah.
With what happened there, and not even with her in particular. That to me is the side dish to this.
Sure.
Actually, I should not have said that when I'm talking about. I should not have said that at all when I'm talking about this. I meant no ill will on that.
Right.
Side dish, not the right term for her role in this. Or at least, I mean, it is, but it's not. Like that was probably accidentally inappropriate. I really, really want to know about Skip Bayless.
Oh, man.
I mean, just
that's a can of worms that I don't know if the world is ready for.
Oh, I can't wait. Here's the thing, because there's going to be a lot of depositions in this, and there's two kinds of people who will be deposed in this. There's going to be people, and look, nothing may come out about it. We may get a settlement, and no one will know.
Sure.
Which was probably what Fox wants. But
oh yeah.
But if it does come out, here's the thing. There's going to be people who get deposed who don't want to say anything about anything. Like, oh, well, not in my experience, blah, blah, blah. And then there's going to be other people who didn't necessarily get harassed by Skip Bayless, like this lady alleges to have been, but who hate his guts, who are like, oh, you want to know another thing? You want to know another thing? Let me tell you this. And those are what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
As an employee of the company, I don't really know, what more I can really say at this point too. But I mean, it's been a story that has a lot of people's attention. That's for sure.
Yeah, I didn't mean to put you. I keep forgetting.
No. Hey, this got nothing to do with me. I don't know anything at this point.
No. But again, a lot of serious sports journalists wrapped up in this. Very serious sports journalists and influencers. But anyway, back to the combine real quick. Yeah. We'll take our next break and then we'll talk about the challenge. Or no, we'll skip the break and we'll just talk about the challenge in a minute. But no, I'm very curious. Like I want to see how some of those guys, like the guys at the top, you kind of know what's going to go on there. It's the guys, like you mentioned, Ariante Irsay. Like, I'm very curious about him. Wyatt Milam from West Virginia is a guard who's just a road grader, just an absolute mauler. Actually, I think about, like, he's got a stat that's very similar. So Zach Martin retired last week.
Yep.
And Zach Martin, Walter Sharp football, great follow. Has a lot of great numbers.
By the way, right? He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He should be a Hall of Famer.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on who else is there,
right?
Maybe
that not year. First ballot, but he is a Hall of Fame caliber guard. He
might wind up being first ballot because he's an All-Pro every year, but like the last two, in his career. So either first or second team. I mean, he's unbelievable.
Can I ask you, because I remember, if memory serves me right, do you recall who they drafted? They took Zach Martin instead of
Johnny Manziel. Oh,
yes,
yeah.
That's right. Yes.
I was one of those people who was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
You're like, and part of it was just because, like, oh, I want to see this train wreck.
Oh, yeah.
But
I think all of the NFL universe wanted to see that train wreck 100%.
Yeah. That's where they're like, Jerry, we're going to take your little Belvedere vodka away from you right now.
Yeah.
We're going to take it away. We're taking it away. You can't have another one until after we pick.
Right.
After we pick, you can have as much as you want. But after this one, and they're like, oh, let's pick the future first ballot Hall of Famer as opposed to a guy that we're going to move like way closer to his favorite cocaine dealer.
What an astounding, exhibit of good judgment that in that moment that was. Because, I mean, everybody, I think, wanted to see the Cowboys take Johnny Manziel. But
Romo was still in his prime, too. It would have been silly. And then they got Dak a couple years later anyway.
Right.
So, yeah, it all worked out as great as things can work out for that organization as it stands right now, So, but, so Zach Martin, in his entire career, every passing down of his entire career, never had an accepted holding penalty his entire career.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You would think it would happen on accident too, like with a bad call. Maybe they just got the number wrong or something like that. That is absolutely unreal to me. That's unreal.
So that means that for 12 years, 13 seasons, whatever it was, he never got beat bad enough to have to hold somebody. So, that doesn't mean he wasn't holding. He was just better at it than everybody else.
Yeah.
But usually when the elites get holding penalties, Like if you see Landon Johnson, what's his name? Yeah, Lane Johnson or Landon Dickerson from the Eagles. If you see Lane Johnson getting a holding penalty.
Well, he's playing tackle, yeah.
Yeah, but if you see Lane Johnson get a holding penalty, if you see one of those guys, it's because they got beat and they just reach out and they hope they don't get caught. Like that's what happens. That means that he never got beat so bad enough that he had to go out and grab it.
Yeah,
that's how good that was.
I would love to do a little digging. I'd have to think. I mean, one of the best guards that I can think of, of recent memory, Steve Hutchinson, who was also inducted. I'd have to go look it up, but I can't imagine that he went his entire career without a holding penalty. I can't imagine it. Yeah, and he's a Hall of Fame type talent. To not have a holding penalty, that is insane, Paul. It's insane to think about it that way. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm excited to see those guys. I'm excited to see some of the running backs in the middle. Like, I want to see Cam Scatterbo and like people go like, oh no, this is not a fluke. This guy's really something special.
Right.
Devin Neal from Kansas. Pay attention to that name. He's a guy I think that could sneak in there and do some things. Taj Brooks from Texas Tech, and I'm leaning heavily on the Big 12 right now because they had a lot of great running backs. Taj Brooks rushed for 100 yards in every single game this year but one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so they have a wide open offense there with Zach Kittley, but still, like every one but one, he had 100 yards this year. So that's not something that happens all that often, and maybe a little overshadowed by the fact that Cam Scatterbo was in the league, and then Ollie Gordon was coming back, even though he didn't have a great year. Ollie Gordon, I'm seeing him listed. He's still a top 100 player by most people's estimations, but it's like they forgot about what happened a year ago, and then the offensive line was worse, and all of a sudden Ollie Gordon's forgotten about. Dude, he's there. Like, you can get Ollie Gordon in the late third round, and all of a sudden you've got a bell cow back. So that's the position I'm looking forward to the most is running back for sure.
They say that this year could break a record in terms of number of running backs that are drafted this year. And like you say, you're focused on Big 12. For me in the Big 10 too, I mean, Caleb Johnson out of Iowa is a more than capable back too. And we got to see actually Omari Hampton was here the first game of the season when North Carolina played Minnesota, and he ran all over Minnesota. He was just absolute dynamic type talent. Those two names right there, middle rounds, I think are going to be great value picks. And Caleb Johnson, it's like, I feel like Caleb Johnson has another level that he can get to. He feels like one of those backs that like you have all the talent of the world, but are you going to be able to unlock it all when you get to the pro level? I think I'm curious about him, but I think he's got so much talent that I think he'll be able to figure it out in the NFL.
Yeah. All right, let's talk challenge here.